So let's have a debate. Do street photographs sell? Now in this video, I'm going to share my experiences of how I try to sell street photographs. And towards the end of the video, I'll show you something I did that's going to be really divisive. It's going to split opinion, but what I did to my street photographs to help them sell. Now it involves adding stuff to the photograph. And I know what you're thinking, well, that's just breaking all the rules. And I couldn't agree more, but it helped get sales. But let's start with this photograph that I captured in my local park. Now I looked out the window one morning and I could see it had been snowing. So I reached for my camera and off I went to the park. And the park was quite empty, to be honest, but there was an old lady. She looked quite grand with a walking stick. So I thought she'd make great subject matter. So eventually she sat down on the park bench and I captured a photograph. And when I got back home, I looked at the photograph and I thought, oh, I really like this. I edited it, changed the exposure and colours and stuff. But pretty much, I loved the photograph. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if I could find that lady and give her a copy of the photograph, get it framed and just give her a copy, basically. But anyway, fast forward a couple of months later, I was walking through the park in the summertime and I couldn't believe it. She was there. I could see her off in the distance. So I walked over to her and got my phone out because I had the image on my phone and I showed her. So this is what happened. This little video will sort of put you in the scene.
Oh, what a lovely photograph. It would look marvellous on the sideboard.
Go away. We don't want your stupid photograph. We have loads of photos of her sitting on a park bench.
So yeah, she absolutely loved the photograph and I offered to have it printed and framed and I didn't want any money at all. And just as a thank you for letting me photograph her, basically. And then all of a sudden, a husband appeared from nowhere and he was quite loud and quite shouty. And what he actually said was, "We don't want any of your old tat. Get away with your photographs." I couldn't believe it, honestly. And I did explain that it was free. Oh, we've got loads of photographs on the mantelpiece of us sitting on a bench. We don't want another one. I absolutely couldn't believe it. So the thing that struck me was I couldn't even give the photograph away, which is quite funny, isn't it? A bit of a shame as well, because she did love the photograph. Anyway, at my local gallery, I sell my artwork. And the gallery owner, Dawn, is quite keen on me to display my street photographs. But I said, look, you've got limited wall space, so I'd rather put my art on the wall because I know that sells, and I'm unsure about the street photographs. But Dawn insisted, so she chose a specific photograph. Now it's of an old lady walking along the seafront, and in the shot is an old vintage camper van. So she chose that one. So I went home, printed it, had it framed, and it went up on the wall in the gallery. And I said, look, good luck with that sale because people don't generally buy street photographs. Anyway, she rang me up an hour later when I was home and said, I've sold it. I couldn't believe it. So I said, well, what happened? She said, well, a gentleman came in, he looked at the photograph for about 5 minutes and then left the gallery and then came back 10 minutes later with his friend. So his friend took the framed photograph off the wall, took it over to the counter and paid for it. So I said to Dawn, did he say anything? So she said, well, I asked him, why were you drawn to this photograph? What is it about this photograph that makes you want to buy it? So he said, well, to be honest with you, love, the camper van in the photograph belongs to me. And I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice to have a photograph of my camper van on the wall? Which I think's hilarious, isn't it? So I said to Dawn, look, you did get a sale and you did get it within an hour, but it was to a guy whose camper van was in the shot. So not quite a sale or a genuine sale, I would say. So going forward, a couple of years after that, I joined a gallery in the lovely city of Chester and I was offered an exhibition of my artwork. And the gallery was quite a big place. It was spread over 3 floors. So my exhibition went really well and I sold quite a lot of art. Now I didn't think about putting any street photographs up on the wall. And eventually we had a new artist joined us and his name was David Landells. And he was a street photographer and his work was absolutely fantastic. He was well travelled. He lived in New York, he'd lived in Burma, which is now Myanmar, and some of his shots were absolutely brilliant. Now, he was given pride of place, a prominent position in the gallery on the ground floor. So when you entered the gallery, his work was there. Now, during the time I was at the gallery, which was probably 1 or 2 days a week, I would observe people coming into the gallery and spending a lot of time looking at David's work, and they would comment how lovely the shot was, or they would actually sort of dissect the photograph and why it works, all that type of stuff. But did he get many sales? No. So on our leaderboard of sales, he would always be down the bottom. Now, he did get sales, but compared to other people in the gallery, it was really quite low. And eventually he left the gallery, which was a big shame. But when he left, I thought, I think I'm going to try my street photographs, but I need to do something to them to make them saleable, really. Because I think what I judge from David's work was that people love to look at them, but would they have them on the wall? And this is the big problem, I think. So I thought, if I can make a change to my street photographs and make them more commercial, if you like. So that's what I did. So the first image I looked at then was this particular image of the two old people sitting at a bus station. And I was taken with the fact that, they've grown up together as lovers, husband and wife, whatever, and they're just ordinary people. So I thought, ordinary people. And then I started thinking, let's give my work song titles and lyrics from famous songs. And what really hit me with this is that the couple are an ordinary couple. They are sitting close to a supermarket, and the lyrics just come straight into my head from the Pulp song, which is, I met her at a supermarket. I don't know why, but it had to start it somewhere. So I added those lyrics to the bench just in front of the couple. And then I thought, yeah, that looks really good. It needs something else. So I popped in a portable TV next to the gentleman, and I put Jarvis Cocker's face on the TV. And I loved it. And then I popped it into a frame and took it to the gallery. So it kind of looked like this. And there you go. I've got like a leather sort of mount around the image. Now I've taken the glass out so it doesn't shine too much. But yeah, so that went up onto the wall, and I waited for sales, and I got my first sale. Great. And then I got another sale. Fantastic. And then I got another sale. I was on a roll. So I decided to do some more. So I took this particular image of the lady walking past the woman's lingerie shop. And again, lyrics came into my head. And in this case, it was lyrics from the Arctic Monkeys song, Fluorescent Adolescent. You used to get it in your fishnets. Now you only get it in your nightdress. And I thought, that's fantastic. So I popped that just below the window. And then I just put an Arctic Monkeys poster inside the shop. And printed it, framed it, got that ready to take to the gallery. And then I did another one. And this one was an image of two people sitting in a window of a cafe looking really miserable. So I thought, miserable, who sings miserable songs? Morrissey from the Smiths. Brilliant. So again, song lyrics just below the window. And in this case, I would go out tonight, but I haven't got a stitch to wear, which is this charming man. And I popped a little poster in the window. So I printed that and framed that, and it was all good to go to the gallery until I got a call from the gallery and we were closing. The gallery was actually closing. We had a week left. It was like a pop-up gallery, so we only had limited time there. When I say limited time, we were there about 2 years, but yeah. So there was no way it was worth taking the shots, the frame prints to the gallery, because they'd only be up there for, it just meant I'd have to bring more stuff back. So that was my little experiment. Now I'm sure there's going to be people out there who absolutely hate what I've done. I'm sure there will be, because I'm breaking all the rules, but it generated sales and it generated interest. And I think I put stuff in that photograph, and that concept of songs from the streets and song titles, that you get from looking at a street photograph. I thought that was a great idea. It's an artistic idea, isn't it? And it kind of worked. And so if you hate it, that's the reason I did it. It was a little experiment. And I kind of agree. If you don't like, I kind of agree. I have broken the rules, but I know a lot of people will like that type of thing. So that's what I did. Now, moving further along the line, I haven't tried to sell any more. And it would be difficult to go mainstream sales with this type of thing because of the copyright issue. And lyrics on songs are heavily copyrighted. So it would be really dangerous to put them out there. You know, I would imagine I'd get some sort of copyright strike. I have had that before with some Beatles artwork that I did. So you do have to be careful. But why not look at your photographs and see what song titles come to mind and see what you can do. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed the video. And as I say, your stories of you may have about selling street photographs, I'd love to read them. So pop them in the comments below. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you in the next video.